Right, our next performer or next presentation this afternoon is going to be James Hesketh with Viva Gold.
Right. Thank you. So my name's Jim Hesketh. I'm President and CEO of Viva Gold. That's call sign is VAU on the Toronto Venture Exchange. It's VAUCF on the OTCQB and 7PB on the Frankfurt Exchange. So we're a Nevada-focused gold exploration and development company, and we're talking about the high-grade Tonopah Gold Project today. The project is located in western Nevada along the what's called the Walker Lane mineral belt or gold trend, and that stretches basically along the California and Nevada border. We've got a strong resource position, gold resource, with quite a bit of exploration upside. One of the key components of this pit is the presence of a high-grade starter pit. To put that in context, some of our highest grades are also some of the closest to surface. Our high-grade mineralization starts within 30 feet of the surface, 10 meters. We completed a economic analysis. This was in 2020 that produced a robust IRR at $1,400 gold price. Today, the price of gold is just over $2,000 per ounce. So we've seen a lot of uptick in the valuation of the metal since that time. We've got an excellent management team, I'll discuss that, and a strong institutional shareholder base. So looking at the project overall, we've got pretty realistic timelines to move it forward into feasibility study. Our capital structure got 106.7 million shares outstanding and relatively concentrated ownership. Dundee Corporation, a well-known Canadian group, owns 20% of the company. RAB Capital out of the UK owns just under 18%. Myrmikan Gold Fund out of Connecticut, they own 9.5%, and Pontillas Partners out of Austin, Texas. So we've got a strong underpinning in terms of raising finance, and it's a solid structure to move forward on. So not used to trackpads. Looking at this project in context, the value proposition in the last year, there's been quite a number of acquisitions in our district of advanced stage gold projects. This is the Walker Lane trend, and we're in Las Vegas right now. All of these projects you're seeing are within a 3.5-hour drive of here. I know I did the drive yesterday from the drill rig on down. But Anglo Gold did 2 acquisitions last year, average price about $170 per US dollars per ounce of resource in the ground. Some of those projects have advanced permits on them. Centerra Gold did a acquisition last year just south of us, Goldfield District. They paid about $177 per ounce for a fully permitted project. Augusta Gold, that's a project acquired the Reward project last year. That was $100 per ounce. That is a project that myself and my team actually permitted back in 2014, and we sold the project. The people we sold it to Augusta. We're currently trading Viva Gold at roughly $17 per ounce of resource in the ground. So the value proposition with additional de-risking, i.e. permitting and engineering work, feasibility, is the potential for a 10 times multiple over where we're currently at. So there's your value proposition and why you should listen to this presentation. We have another, just north of us, about a half hour's drive away, is Kinross Round Mountain gold mine. That's currently a large gold producer, about 250,000 ounces last year. They announced in December that they're running out of open pit ore. They'll be closing the open pits down, started a decline to mine high-grade ore to keep their mill fed. That's a process opportunity for us. The mill is a half hour away by good 2-lane paved highway from our site. So lots of opportunities and with this project. We've been steadily building our gold resource. When we acquired the project in 2017, there was only about a 37,000 ounce inferred gold resource on the site. Our last estimate had about 600,000 ounces of resource, with 2/3 of that being measured and indicated. That's reserve ready with the additional engineering. And we've got another, right now, about 5,000 meters of drilling that's not included in this estimate. So we're currently bidding out a new resource estimate and economic assessment, and that's used as a segue into taking the project into full feasibility study by the end of the year. So that's the current goal, but that is our growth trajectory, and it's been quite good. Very quickly on the geology here, the purple stuff is old rock. The blue stuff is really young rock. Most of the gold lays on the contact between the two. So that's why the picture. I see one geologist in the room, but you know, that's very simplified. It's argillite overlain by tertiary volcanics, and the contact zone is the contact between the lithologies carries a lot of the gold. In terms of a trend, we've got really about 2.5 kilometers over about 1.5 miles long of defined mineralization in this project. We've outlined at this point 3 different pit areas. The main and south pit with our current drilling, that is connecting up. And then the Midway Hills pit up in the upper left-hand corner, that's inferred. That's a small amount of drilling up there, and that's a future resource that will build up. The resource itself, what we're seeing here, these north-south splays, those are structures, and we're currently drilling on those, and we're drilling in between the north and the south pits, and it's actually connecting up. I was on the drill rig yesterday, and the chips coming out look really promising. We never know until we get the assays back, but the first 8 holes of assays will go out on the truck tomorrow. So we'll know before long. This picture up here, we do have free gold. That's dendritic free gold in some of the core. We do see some vein type mineralization in here that's pretty flashy when you look at it. Some of our drilling last year, we had some spectacular results. Our star of the show is this TG2211, 58 meters at 5 grams. Starting 40 meters below surface. You don't see that too often. We had quite a number of really strong holes. 86 meters at 1.3 grams. 21 meters, half gram. This included here 10.7 meters at 24 grams. We get both high and low grade mineralization here, and approximately 20% of the tons in our resource carries 50% of the gold ounces. So we'll talk about that when we discuss how we get the gold out of the rock. But these are some just examples of cross sections. 13 meters at 4.1 grams, 86 meters at 1.3 grams. Pretty obvious that the zone is coming up, but there's no drilling in here. There's a 150 meter gap. This one here, there's no drilling to the south of this 58 meters at 5 grams. So a lot of upside potential. We've just drilled 4 holes in that open extension zone there. Good continuity. That's a long section. That's about 1.4 kilometers long, a mile long. And that's your main pits. So looking at the economics of this project, this was done in actually 2020, and it was based on half of our current resource base. So we've doubled the resource since we completed the economic study. But at the time, we were defining a project that would produce between 40 and 50,000 ounces a year. To put that in context for the non-mining people, that's a business with a gross revenue of between $80 and $100 million a year at today's prices, gold price. So that had nice positive economics on half the resource base. But at today's gold price, that half-size project had a IRR of 67%. NPV 5% of 148 million and a payback of 1.5 years. And that's a function of that high-grade starter pit, the high-grade near-surface material that comes out first. So that's what we've been growing on. The economics here provided a incentive as to why keep investing in this project. We have, since we completed that last project, we've done additional metallurgical test work. We're now on phase 4 of metallurgical testing, and we can demonstrate really solid gold recoveries. The economic analysis used an average of 70% gold recovery. And what we've determined from our high-grade material at this point, that's the 20% of the tons that carries half the gold. Well, that averages about close to 1.4 grams, that material. And we take an extra step on our metallurgical process. We can increase gold recovery on that half of the resource through selective mining by about 20%. So we can increase our average recovery from 70 to 80, and the process has been used in a lot of operations around the western U.S. It's called pulp agglomeration leach, but it's a process that the economics prove up quite nicely that we should do it. So that's going to be the topic of our PEA that will commence this summer. That's an economic analysis using the revised metallurgical process and the larger resource base. And we will be doing a complete update of our resource at this time also. So infrastructure is excellent. This road in the background, that's the highway that runs up to the Round Mountain mine of Kinross. It's a 2-lane state highway. This road coming into the picture, that's a chip seal road. We'll have to relocate that road. But at this site, we can actually get a UPS delivery to our drill rig. And you don't see that too often. So that's key. The other thing is Tonopah Public Utilities. The town of Tonopah is on the other side of this mountain right here in the foreground. And there's a water pipeline and a water utility that crosses the south end of our property. There's a 15 kilovolt power line that goes with the pipeline that can be upgraded to 25 kilovolt. But what we have is we have the availability of commercial water supply, electric, and really good paved road. What that does is it significantly cuts down on capital costs. You don't have to build all that stuff. And a lot of the projects that we see coming across in places like, British Columbia, the Yukon, etc., there's no roads. So you need millions of ounces to make a mine work in places like that to justify all that capital infrastructure. We don't have to do that here. So looking at our, sorry, I went the wrong way. Looking at our work program, we've been doing a lot of baseline study work. The U.S. Bureau of Land Management has a checklist of 30 different baseline studies that you need to complete to move into the formal environmental impact statement studies. We have completed the bulk of our baseline study work at this point, and we've worked cooperatively with the Town of Tonopah. This is our commitment to de-risking the project and understanding the environment. In December, we completed pump down testing on the aquifers on the project. So we understand the groundwater. We've been sampling the water table here for almost 3 years, and we have a lot of historic data from predecessor companies. So all of this is required to move forward with the mining operation while also protecting and understanding the environment around you. We've completed our wildlife studies. There's really no protected species at all on this site. There's no sage grouse, no desert tortoise, no Townsend long-eared bats. Those are typical species that we worry about in this type of area, but we don't see those on this project. So what are our goals and timelines for this project? Well, we're currently in a 3,000 meter drilling program that's mostly infill and step out drilling in the immediate pit area. That's to turn our inferred resource into measured and indicated, and that additional inferred resource. We'll be commencing the updated geologic models as soon as we finish this drilling program, and we're completing this. We just completed 8 drill holes in the last 2 weeks, so we'll be done with our drilling in May, and that's all into the assay lab. Geotechnical study, we completed all the field work required for to support a feasibility study on that. We've completed our metallurgical study, and then baseline studies, that's ongoing. So our plan is to commence feasibility study late this year and then move on initiating the EIS permitting process. Quite likely, we will be required to do a full environmental impact statement. The regulatory authorities have gotten pretty sticky about moving forward on environmental assessments. And then that should lead to a construction decision towards late 2024. So the keys on the Tonopah project is we own 100% of it. We've got significant resource upside. We've got a well-drilled resource as it exists. We've got a unique high-grade starter pit. We go straight into high grade, and that pays for the capital on the project. It drives a very short-term capital payback period. We've got a track record of growing the resource, and we've got great infrastructure. And really, it's Nevada. It's a place where you can actually build a mine in the U.S. And this is the mining state. So on top of that, we've got a very accomplished management team and board. But really, that's the quick and dirty about Viva. It's a great investment. We see upside. And we're in a location where we have the potential to reduce capital costs through partnering with some of the nearby process facilities. So that is something that we'll be exploring in feasibility. But we anticipate being able to move this forward quite quickly. So any questions? No? All right. Well, thank you very much, and a pleasure presenting this today.